Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Richard Cook and I'm the president of the Charles County Medical Society. Today I'll be briefly discussing and generalizing current data on the newly discovered Omicron variant, first found by scientists in South Africa on November 11th and has now spread to dozens and dozens of other countries around the world and so far 12 states here in the US, including Maryland yesterday. So basically, it's been here and it's very likely everywhere. Firstly, when the WHO declared the B11529 a variant of concern, they named it Omicron. The Greek letter nu was skipped because it sounded too much like the word new, N-E-W, and Xi was skipped because it's a common surname around the world. A variant of concern is merely a speculative term and not based on patient outcomes, but a more severe classification than variants of interest and a less severe classification than variants of high consequence. We've seen many variants of concern around the world like Gamma, Beta, and currently Delta. Variants of interest have been the Mu and Lambda variants. And as you can see by all the names I've mentioned, not all of them caused outbreaks around the world. So the question is, how concerned do we need to be? Other questions are, is the Omicron variant more deadly, also known as the virulence? Is it more transmissible? And is it going to evade vaccines and or natural immunity and keep people out of the hospital and from dying? What you will see on the news is many graphs and charts and data, which is all speculation. The immune system, unfortunately, is one of the most complex systems in the human body, and studies will take weeks to determine how bad Omicron is because we still have more questions than answers. But I will tell you what we currently know. However, it could easily change as things are happening in real time. And basically what you're seeing with this video and in the news are educated guesses, also known as hypotheses. So let's remember from a previous video I mentioned that a single human infected with COVID can produce up to 1 trillion viruses. And during this replication process, mutations happen all the time. However, the vast majority of them turn out to be duds and don't cause any disease or variants of concern. But occasionally, a mutation causes a possible improvement in the virus and can potentially make it stronger, or at least in the case of Omicron, as we will see, give it the characteristics to make it look stronger. The area of mutation that has occurred with the Omicron that is most concerning is the mutation on the spike protein. Spike proteins, as you already know, are the areas of the virus that attach to our cells and mainly found in our respiratory tract, our GI tract, and in blood vessels, to name a few. The spike protein is also the area where antibodies produced by vaccines in the human body can neutralize the virus. So what has caused Omicron to become a variant of concern is the sheer number of mutations found in and around the virus when compared to other variants. So let's do a brief comparison. The Omicron virus has about 32 mutations in the spike protein and about 10 mutations in the receptor binding domain, which is the specific part of the protein that allows it to bind with our human cells more easily. This is in comparison to the only 7 to 9 mutations on the alpha and delta spike protein and 1 to 2 mutations on their receptor binding domains. This is a cause of concern for any virus, let alone one that's causing a current pandemic. However, the human immune system is a very complex system that isn't just made up of antibodies that attack to the spike protein. We have broad T cell responses. We have natural killer cells that are part of the innate immune system and involved in the process of also neutralizing these viruses. So back to the questions. There is currently no information to suggest that symptoms associated with Omicron are different from other variants. As far as is Omicron more deadly, we currently don't know. In general, most viruses don't like to kill their host because it would be advantageous to their survival. it wouldn't be advantageous to their survival. Factors such as vaccination rates, booster rates, waning immunity from your previous COVID vaccination, and natural infections, patient populations like age and risk factors, etc., all have to be taken into account when determining these answers, and this takes time to do. What can further complicate determinations are every day we are having more people waning from the vaccines and natural infection than we are having people get vaccinated. And when compared to South Africa, we also have to take into account that only 24% of their population are fully vaccinated, and most of their cases are primarily in young university students. This is compared with around 60% of the US being vaccinated, and this still ranks us below 50th in the world. Also, despite cases and even hospitalizations going up in South Africa, it is still unclear if those cases are solely being caused by the Omicron variant. However, it ain't looking too good. Also, it is yet to be determined if it's more deadly because generally deaths lag cases by about 2 to 4 weeks. Therefore, we don't know the specifics about transmission because general testing doesn't look for the Omicron variant. And finally, is the Omicron variant going to evade our immune system? Despite the mutation of the virus, cases have so far looked pretty reassuring. They look reassuring that our vaccines and boosters will at the very least keep us out of the hospital if you are up to date and from dying. Studies with blood of infected individuals, whether vaccinated or not, take weeks to complete. But again, if you're up to date with your vaccines, it is looking reassuring. Quick word on testing. If you look at my Facebook page from last year, I recommended mass home testing for everyone using rapid antigen tests in order to get control of the pandemic. The antigen test will work and does work with the Omicron variant, and along with vaccination, social distancing, ventilation, filtration, contact tracing, and other mitigation factors that work together, we can get a hold on this pandemic. But unfortunately, the U.S. continues to be lagging on testing, which is absolutely crucial in the fight against COVID. It is also part of the reason the U.S. has more COVID deaths than any other country on the planet. Literally, in other countries, you can get a free rapid home antigen test at a distribution center or pharmacy. And contrary to popular belief, we're still doing about 1/4 the amount of testing compared to places like the UK. Also, the antigen tests are better at picking up whether or not someone is currently infected or transmitting the virus compared to the PCR test, which just tells whether or not someone might be infected or is simply just carrying around remnants of an infection. So the good news is, and this is speculation on my part, there is enough evidence to suggest that Omicron won't be a serious matter as far as hospitalizations and deaths, and at the very least, if you are up to date on your vaccines and boosters, they will still be very effective. So I hope this short update helps. Please feel free to share this video with your friends and family. And if you have any questions or something you feel that I missed in this update, feel free to leave any questions below or comments below, and I will do my best to answer them in a timely manner. You guys have a great weekend out there, and remember to take care of yourselves and your community. Thank you.